Babushka's background is really, it just encapsulates how I feel. It's too fucking hot. Picture is what it feels like inside my house.
If it feels like I'm going to pass out at the beach, I want it to look like I'm at the beach. Are you ready?
I feel like I've forgotten something.
Imagine how naked I feel at the moment.
Oh, I'm glowing. I feel like this is going to be a theme. There we go.
It's okay, my body's just going to jump in and out of existence.
In this episode, Babushka's having an existential crisis.
Just this episode. Hello, I'm Sister Babushka.
And I'm Sister Alaska Lots.
And this is Utter Nunsense.
This is the show where we pour a cup of tea.
And we utter whatever nonsense pops into our heads.
It's basically a really laid-back chat between friends.
And new episodes are uploaded at the start of every month. So do like and subscribe to catch all the new episodes as they come out.
And today we brought a friend. So excited.
I'm Brother Bimbo del Doppio Senso.
Brother Bimbo is actually my mother in the convent as well.
The convent's old fat. You've spoken about me while naming no names often enough.
We have. I'm hoping more nuns means more nonsense. Exponentially, the more nuns you add, nonsense galore. And what's this? We're all looking a bit naked. Why?
It's really hot in Scotland right now. So we're all naked.
What is it? 24 degrees Celsius.
Oh, melting.
We thought it'd be quite fun to invite everyone along to watch the magic happens.
Oh yes, this is hopefully a little bit of an opportunity to learn about sister makeup and its history and how it's done just by watching us do it and utter random nonsense as we go.
Today we get to reveal all the secrets, other than where we hide the dead bodies, of course.
Let's face it, if anybody goes looking for them, they'll look in the crypt first anyway.
This is why we have you standing guards.
I've left the cat there.
Cats are known to be excellent guard animals. So is this the point at which we just start putting on the slap?
Or the moisturiser.
I put on primer like half an hour before I put on the white face, just because I thought that would help. It did not. It just meant my skin was extra slimy.
So we're going to horrify professional makeup artists now by some of the things we do.
I would hope so.
Shall we start by talking about why the white face?
Canonically, it's the sacred clown, this mythological figure that we all channel a bit of when we're working. Whiteface came in very early in the sisters. Various reasons were given that the sisters who were around at the time have subsequently denied. So initially, in the early days, they said it was so that their employers didn't know who they were, which is the excuse that gets regularly denied. But it's this whole idea that we embody an element of the trickster in sort of US and European culture. Clowns wear white face paint. It's also because not long after the sisters were founded is when AIDS happened. And so for a lot of those early sisters, it had death mask symbolism.
Oh, I never knew that.
Especially within San Francisco, everyone thought they were basically doomed because there was this disease that was killing people that not only did they not know much about, but society as a whole didn't care.
That makes sense, actually.
And it's fun.
It's
people
definitely
seem more
fun.
willing to talk to the painted face than the person underneath as well, which is weird.
It really it grabs attention, doesn't it? You stand out and tends to pique people's interests, which makes it a really good conversation starter.
Obviously, not all sisters paint their faces. The sisters in Australia notably don't. We think this is hot.
God, I can only imagine trying to do this in Australian heat right now.
I've manifested in Australia and I painted my face and I can see why they don't. It stayed on. I was quite pleased. But, you know, they don't wear makeup, but they wear full traditional habits all the time.
Oh.
That must be quite hot in itself, you know.
See, I'm trying to do this whilst watching Sister Alaska closely. The most gorgeous from all of this.
Oh, well, we'll see. If it all melts off my face, it'll be an avant-garde look today. And of course, Sister Babushka started completely naked. And that's generally because Sister Babushka is quicker. We needed a head start.
Personal best was something like 20 minutes because we were at Pride in London and I got stuck in the lift of the sisters' block of flats where we were getting ready.
Oh.
So yay, firefighters. But it meant that by the time I got to the flat to start putting the makeup on, everyone was ready and waiting. I just had to do it in a real hurry.
Yeah, I think I've developed the speedy approach just because obviously at the start of pandemic back in 2020, I'd done those slap Saturdays as a little challenge to do a bit of makeup each Saturday. But some days I had other things on, so I then had to try and finish it quickly enough before it was the next day. So I picked the speed from there rather than from being stuck, having other people waiting on me.
And now I make you wait every episode.
For hours and hours at a time.
I'm doing my standard face here, but I kind of designed it so that after the incident with the firefighters and the lift, there are various stopping points where that'll do. Yeah, that's enough. So if I need to do a quick face, I only just take it to a certain stage.
Ah, that's really clever, actually.
I think I generally use whatever time I'm given. So the more time you give me, the longer I will take. And of course, during the pandemic, we've had the luxury of time because I can choose when to start manifest. I can give myself 5 hours if I like. I just have very bad habits. Bad habits. Oh, that was terrible.
So what you're saying is when we finally get back to like in-person events, we've got to carefully watch you and your time.
Probably.
And I've also noticed that I am the only one at the moment who has put on their head panties, but I generally think I find that easier because I know that if I try and put them on after I've done my makeup, I will probably smudge everything, where I think both of you probably have a bit more skill and grace in putting them on.
Practice.
I just end up getting paint all over it.
Really ought to have some cozy time with the makeup brush shampoo.
I am really bad for not washing my brushes. And then I go to use them and it ends up black when it was supposed to be yellow or something.
I mean, there's this particular brush that I use for the black powder, and that doesn't get washed because it seems to work better when it's just got centuries of black pigment on it.
This is something that I've always been quite interested in, actually, is I think we probably all use slightly different products for what we're doing. And I would love to know more about, in particular, Brother Bimbo, what kind of stuff you use. Because I know I tend to use like water-based face paints, and I think Babushka tends to use a lot of like powders, don't you?
Powders and eyeshadows and all that. So yeah, more powder-based.
Makeup artists believe you can't do this, but I'm using a standard theatrical grease paint for the base, and then I go over with this stuff. Like the base, it's Creolan, which is a German brand which is very, very popular with the German sisters. And I'm now going over with neon coloured eyeshadow. Neither of them are quite satisfying enough, but if you layer stuff, you get some interesting, deep, strong effects.
Yes, because I've always thought your makeup's very vibrant, and I've wondered how you did it.
Pour the paint bucket over me, basically. The neon eyeshadow is just a popular brand that you can get from department stores and stuff. Although one of the things that tends to bother me is the ethics of the companies that I get stuff from. The particular company that the neon eyeshadow is from, when it runs out, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, because I found out that they're actually a subsidiary of a very unethical company indeed. On the other hand, my quest for a good eyeliner to replace the one from the company owned by the white supremacist anti-vaxxer has been ended by the fact that the white supremacist anti-vaxxer has sold the company and isn't having anything to do with it anymore.
Excellent.
Yay!
So what products are you using today, Babushka?
Yeah, I've got a couple of mixture things, makeup palettes, such as, oh, if my camera wasn't so shit. Oh, hold on, if I hold it to my chest, there you go. You can see sort of palette colours, quite vibrant colours. It's much like Brother Bimbo. I sort of look at who's providing the makeup and whether or not they're testing on animals, if they're cruelty-free, vegan, also if there's sort of sustainability behind it. So yeah, mostly powders, all powders for me. I am too afraid to try water-based face paints on my face after just putting on all the white grease paint.
And out of curiosity, why is that?
I just feel I would fuck it up somehow. Plus, I'm used to applying a lot of makeup like outside a sister face, just as powders and that. So I've probably had more experience doing that anyway.
One of the things I find advantageous about putting the water-based colour over the grease paint is that unlike a water-based foundation, it doesn't leak. So once it's fixed, it's there.
I think I quite like the water-based stuff because I find it goes on a bit smoother and I'm less likely to, like with powders, sometimes I try to put them on a bit too aggressively. I end up like rubbing through the whites and then I'm like, oh, I messed it all up. Whereas the water-based base paints just glide on really easily, which I quite like. I get asked quite a lot about like what type of ones I use. I'm a really big fan of what they call split cakes. So it's a single palette with multiple colours, which means that you can just take all those colours at the same time and get these kind of really nice gradated looks. I'm certainly cheating today because this one is just kind of yellows and reds, but I wanted a bit of blue because I'm channeling Babushka's background at the moment. So I'm just taking an additional blue and kind of dabbed around the outside to try and blend it in. So you can do that as well.
Yeah, I think it just takes a bit of playing with them, but I think it's just like any sort of, whatever you choose to apply, it's just getting used to that medium.
A lot of the other stuff I have are just pure pigments. Black is a Mac Pro one that is indeed the blackest pigment ever. You can't see the table I'm sat at, but the table I'm sat at has a huge black stain over it where I spilt the tiniest amount of it.
It sounds very much like my table. It's just got patches of colour.
Just realised how much I pull my face when I'm putting my makeup on, but that's the black on that side, and you can see it is very black. That's why I won't let novices borrow any, because it's just going everywhere.
I don't do normal eyeliner. I stick with my face paint. In fact, for black, because I find it doesn't matter so much, I just use cheap Snazaroo. My other paints I'm more fussy with, like particularly white. If you're using white face paint, it really matters what quality you have, because the good quality ones are more opaque and the really cheap ones, they don't go over anything. They're rubbish.
Get a cheap one, you're putting on like 20 layers of white to even get a bit of coverage.
The other thing I have to consider, of course, is that my skin can be quite sensitive. Unfortunately, the cheap face painting brands tend to burn my skin.
Yeah, I mean, I would say generally the better quality face paints, they are worth it. You just get more vibrant colours, they go better over each other, they're nicer to work with, nicer consistencies.
There are some inexpensive brands that are really good value for money. The sisters have discussed which those are over and over again.
There's some things where it's definitely worth spending the extra bit of money, in my personal opinion. Like the white base, I also use the Kryolan cream white. It's much better than any water-based face paint is going to be.
I think I've just got black paint on my eyeball.
Oh no.
I'll just look a bit weird.
It's okay, you're in good company for that.
This is one of my favourite palettes.
Oh,
Oh, that looks nice.
Look.
Oh, lovely.
oh, nice.
And it smells of chocolate.
It actually smells of chocolate. That's
Exactly.
amazing. There are flowers that also smell like chocolates. When I was little, we used to have some growing in our garden. My mum would get really annoyed at me because I was forever going and sniffing the chocolate smelling flowers. Probably trampling all over other flowers in the process.
Did you have to ask, did you ever try to have one? Like, just to see if it also tasted?
Wait, as tempting as that was, no, I did not try eating the chocolate flowers. There were plenty of other things I tried eating in that garden that did not taste good. So I think I'd learned by then. Like, we had a tree that had berries on it, and I remember trying to eat the berries with my friend. Turned out they were poisonous slightly. We did not feel well for a couple of days after that.
Oh, Alaska.
Prime utter nonsense chat.
Everybody says I eat weird things anyway.
Ooh, examples. We need examples.
Well, that's just because I'm a hippie and I like to eat plants.
I don't think plants are the weird things. Like, everybody eats plants.
Have you seen those lists of weird foods of the world that you must try? I'm
Yes.
attempting the vegan version of that. So there's stuff like huitlacoche, which is a Mexican corn that's got a fungus a bit like ergo. Goes all
Ooh.
expandy and black and absolutely deliciously mushroomy. And natto, the Japanese fermented soya beans.
Is that not supposed to be quite...
And there's a dish called bukake soba. It's basically, you've got your buckwheat noodles, then you grate over this particular type of mountain yam. And I would note that the food version of bukake actually comes from the Japanese to pour, and it's specifically pouring this grated yam that looks exactly like what you're thinking of when we say bukake.
Now I have to try this dish.
So you have to excuse me a moment, I've put some makeup out of reach.
I almost feel we should burst into choir-like song while we've got the cathedral background there.
Oh, utter nonsense. Oh, utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Starting episode 9, new theme tune.
I should have remembered when putting a rainbow habit on that rainbow habits include green.
Aha. I actually have a green screen, but I've never used it.
Well, the joy of this is if I get fed up of being in the chapter house of Wells Cathedral, I can go to the Eurovision Song Contest.
Woohoo!
Or go and see my sisters in San Francisco.
Very nice.
Or just be loud.
Oh, I like that one. They're all great.
The pub.
Yay!
I mean, I think the most exciting background I can take us to is... I can take us to my hometown of Chernobyl, or we can go to the play park in Chernobyl.
Yay!
Let's get ready in the play park for a bit.
This stuff is pretty good. This is a metallic. They do it in a full set of colours, but it's really good for fine lines.
Oh.
I have a whole collection of like glitters in gels that you just put them straight on your face. And I opened one recently to discover it had completely dried up, started opening the rest, they're all useless. They're just rock solid.
They did it out of spite because you never used them.
Yeah, I've got just out of reach a big bottle of a mixing medium so that rather than using glitters in gel, I just mix them up as I need them.
That seems like a much better plan.
One of the founders of the Order Sister Missionary position, now Sister So Am I, doesn't do whiteface at all. Hence, the American sisters tend to call the Australian tradition mishface.
It's something that you see sometimes in UK sisters as well, isn't it?
More of the newer sisters do whiteface because it's fun.
And I suppose that's always an option for us as well. Like if I was ever left with just 20 minutes to get ready, I would have a lot of heart attack, and then I would probably have to forego the white and just put some colour somewhere on my face. What I really need are some gigantic rainbow sunglasses that just cover half my face.
That is my approach when I don't have time to do makeup properly. Like the last time I was in San Francisco, the sister says, "Oh, yeah, we act as cheerleaders and stewards for the AIDS walk. You should join us for that." Not mentioning that this involves being out at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Oh,
God, late hour.
There's a fantastic picture of me, and I'm basically white face, very basic makeup, and these huge heart-shaped sunglasses.
I think I came across that photo recently. I was just generally searching for sister stuff, and that photo came up in the search results. So I was like, oh, I recognise that face. What I have thus far failed to do is actually find any suitable rainbow glasses. I thought I'd found the perfect pair, and it turns out the company don't deliver to the UK anymore because of Brexit. They were gigantic heart-shaped rainbow glasses, and you could get them like prescription. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm just going to wear them all the time. And they've delivered to the UK for years, but not anymore. Ooh.
You know, it's like, be bold, just do a decent rainbow selection. We'll buy it, honest. So that's my basic, apart from the lips.
Aha.
Very nice.
I'll do the lips last because the lips go everywhere. I might have time to put some glitter on, so let's have a...
You have time to do lots of other things. I take ages.
True. Cool. I'm leaving the park now. I've had enough fun at the park. There we go. Intergalactic Sisters it is. So what do you think is the longest time you've ever taken Alaska to get ready then?
Oh, that's a dirty question to ask. Probably 3.5 hours-ish is probably around there. And that's usually on days where I've been getting ready myself and there's no rush because there's not necessarily a deadline. And so I sit on my sofa, the telly's on, I'm watching shows, occasionally putting some stuff in my face, just having a grand old time.
This is
what
an
a
amazing
difficult.
product that they immediately discontinued as soon as I found out about it.
Oh, it looks very nice though.
It's glitter, but it's in a kind of latexy base, so that when you're done, you just peel it off and your glitter doesn't go everywhere and doesn't go down the sink.
Oh,
Nice.
I've just put it on the top, on that stripe there.
Oh, that is very nice.
Yeah, come on, Two-Faced, more of this kind of thing.
Who are you calling two-faced?
well now.
I am going to go change my water because it's so I'll be back soon.
Mine is, whoops.
Dirty nuns. Such dirty nuns.
Got such dirty habits. Oh. Do we have signature styles or things that are kind of a signature part of our look?
Well, my alter ego, Sister Faye de Grey, the sister persona that I have for 80s nights and stuff, her makeup is actually a copy of a famous one done by Steve Strange, literally on the cover of the single Fade to Grey. So, but this is my standard signature look. I've varied. I've done it in Bear Flag colours for Bear Scott Fest. I've managed to do a full rainbow version.
What was it that you were thinking when you were designing that sort of look that you often wear?
It started off as being basically a bi flag on my face.
Okay, yes.
It was limited by my ability to do it. It's just evolved over the years based on my gradually getting better at doing makeup. It's all day glowy stuff because I like to look fabulous in the sort of clubs that have day glow.
Oh.
It used to be all around the eyes, but then that was not good for my skin. So it's kind of flowery, butterfly-y, looks more complicated than it is.
When I first joined the order and then watching Bimbo putting on their makeup, I was like, oh, this looks well too complicated for me. Or at least from my perspective, it looks really complex and quite detailed. But it's always quite intimidating to see it. I'm like, oh no, I couldn't do that. It's too much for me.
It's the dots. The dots, which as you saw took me a few seconds, make it look a lot more complicated than it is.
Pro tip, want to look fancy at your meeting? Dot your face. And what about you, Alaska? Is there a sort of signature that you always have on your face?
So I do have a particular style of nose that I do that has become consistent, that I do every time now. And I feel like I'm quite drawn to bold designs and things that are quite precise. So rather than having stuff that's just colour, I do a lot of line work in black, and that's fairly consistent with me as well. A butterfly thing seems to happen more often than not these days. I'm not really sure where that came from, given that I actually don't really like butterflies. I've got a bit of a phobia. So I thought I'd put it on my face.
Wear your fear to show them you're not afraid to fuck with the butterflies.
Basically what Batman did. I'm just like the drag version of Batman. I spent a lot of time trying to teach myself traditional face painting techniques, like what they do at kids' parties. That's very much where my style has come from. Do you have any particular signature pieces to your look, Bibushka?
Just gotta make it look like a mess, and it's me.
There have been in convent history several sisters whose look they have claimed has been the crap nun. And they've pretty much all failed at being the crap nun because they're all brilliant.
Well, I'll show them who's the crap nun.
There's the first time for everything.
I don't think I've settled on a particular look yet, other than I'll probably have a lot of design around eyes, and then I'm doing this sort of nose design more often just now. And I know that for a while I had a period of doing sort of swirls around one of my bottom eyes. Quite partial to a sort of asymmetrical look.
I have to say, I particularly like asymmetrical designs because then you don't have that pressure of trying to make it look identical on both sides. So it's meant to look this way.
Couldn't possibly line up like where one bit of eyeliner ended on one side and then make it match the other. So I was like, no, asymmetrical it will be.
I definitely sometimes regret my decision to try and do something symmetrical.
Why do I close my lips when I'm putting mascara on?
That's a normal thing, isn't it? People pull funny faces when they're doing eyeliner and mascara. The mouth open one is a classic.
I'm going.
I also like looking at the camera and being like, is the mistake I see in my mirror as noticeable on camera? And I'm like, no, so it's fine.
It's very, very forgiving, isn't it?
Yeah, been a blessing during lockdown. Just wait till you all see me in person and I look like a beast.
One thing that I often get asked about when I'm out and about as a sister is how on earth I do my lips.
Yes, because you've got a very distinctive kind of lip shape that you do as part of your face, don't you?
Well, as you've noticed, I don't have any real lips, so I just... So this is a Mac Pro product that's designed so that theatrical makeup designers can blend lip paint to exactly the shade they want, but I just use the raw bright red.
We're learning some actual tips here.
If I don't go out onto the streets after this episode is like online and I don't see people doing our faces in the street, I'm going to be mightily disappointed.
Is that the technique?
Pulling faces. Yeah.
The one problem of head panties on early when they start to pull forward and fuck your makeup.
You got your panties in a bunch, my dear.
Not yet. They were trying to bunch themselves.
The glittery bit I used to use lip coat to do this, which is available from Boots, but contains beetle shit and other unpleasantness. And I'm now using a Creolan equivalent, which appears to not have any bits of squished insect or anything like that in. And a very bizarre silicone brush that I got from Sephora bazillions of years ago.
Oh, interesting.
It's just a silicone tipping suckers.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Oh dear. Best Robert Smith impression.
I think I'm going to paint my nose a bit squinty. So for the rest of the episode, I'm just going to sit side on.
Your nose looks out of place. I remember there was one episode where you were like, you probably can't tell on the camera, but yes, I have done glitter. And it was like you had to come really up close to the camera.
So I was like, can you see the glitter? Can you? I'm doing my lips, which makes it very hard to talk. I think we're all basically doing lips though, aren't we?
Just appreciate the view, people.
See, glitter shows up on camera when you've got it all over the place.
That's the trick. Next time, I need more glitter.
Just dunk the head in a big bag of glitter, come out, done.
Remember the sister mantra with makeup? More is more.
I could just use that as the excuse for why it takes so long. I just need more.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, that looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it?
Everyone looks gorgeous from here.
I think it looks quite nice.
Let's put this glitter away before it goes everywhere.
Yes, you do not want to spill all your glitter around the house.
When you're traveling as a sister, really double bag all your glitter and your strong pigments. Because if the airline baggage handlers can find a way to cause your glitter to spill everywhere, they'll do it.
There's always the chance as well, I suppose, that they might be suspicious of the glitter. I've had some very odd encounters with airline staff, you know. There was one particular one where they were very suspicious of a harmonica. They couldn't work out what it was. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. And they were convinced it was a weapon of some sort, a concealed weapon. And I was like, I could just blow through it and show you.
That's what you want us to let you do.
I had to play my harmonica in the middle of the airport to prove that it wasn't a weapon. Yeah, they were so concerned about the harmonica that they completely ignored the fact I have things like scissors in my bag.
Well, those you had for genuine reason, but that harmonica is shady as shit.
Who knows what damage I could do by playing that song during the flight?
The worst could be bagpipes. That would be a weapon if you took them on a plane.
I'm going to be the last ready, as always.
What else is new?
Well, Bimbo's definitely going to be ready first. I'm not rushing, just saying.
Good, that's my thing. I'm the Russian. Stealing my fucking gig.
Ready? I'll sit around and wait for you now, shall I?
Yes, please. Well, Babushka, I meant to ask you, is there a particular, I can't think of my words. Is there a particular inspiration behind your look today, dear?
Waiting in such suspense.
Without my glasses on, and you've not got your veil on, you just look like an egg.
I am Space Egg. Yes, that was my inspiration, Space Egg. You have won today's prize. No, I don't think there was a particular inspiration today. I think I went with a bit of green and yellow just because of the summery sort of weather we've been having. But, you know, my inner goth also commands that I wear dark purples and blues, so it balanced it out. Other than that, I don't think there was a particular style for today. Yeah, I think at the moment it's just been sort of whatever comes through from the palette has been what's been guiding me the last couple of looks I've had.
Lips are on. I'm getting there.
Yes, you are. Okay, I'm taking on my mantle of praying mantis nun. Oh, with the green and the yellow, I can be a reptile. I really could be. I really do need to wash my habit at some point.
Are you telling everybody about your dirty habits again?
It's because whenever I'm in habit, at some point I'll look down and then my white chin just rubs right into it and I'm like, oh,
How low is your chin going?
I'm depending on what I'm looking at.
Are you looking at Sister Babushka?
Well, got to find all my pins so I don't prick myself in the head.
Stabby, 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 stab, stab.
No, no stabby, no stabby.
Now you have your black veils. Any stabbing is entirely your own fault.
What if I choose to stab myself? Might like it.
It's your choice.
I will choose no stabby, please.
Okay. I promise I'm most of the way done.
I like how my whole face just goes out of existence. I am the beach.
Now we just have to question, was Babushka ever real? Or was it all in our imaginations all along?
And a pin. And a pin. Take such pleasure in putting pins in my breasts.
Ah, so you don't like the stabby stabby.
Only on the boobies. Well, now I am totally sweating at the beach.
Whereas I'm in this nice medieval cathedral.
And now everybody's waiting for Alaska. My last thing to do is my lashes. And then I can put on the veil.
Oh, that's right, because you use the magnetic lashes, don't you, Alaska?
I do. So I'm really rubbish with lashes. And magnetic lashes, I've just found them easier. They just snap right on. And I quite like it because it means I can put on the magnetic liner like in advance. And then if I was actually going somewhere in non-COVID times, then I don't have to put on my lashes until I get there and they just snap into place.
That's quite a handy wee time saver.
I need them. You know what time savers I could get.
I figured the viewers didn't need to see me struggling over my lashes.
There we go. Lashes are on. I'm just going to go grab my veil from over the other side of the room. Talk amongst yourselves. But not about me. I can still hear you because I'm in the room.
So, what's the latest gossip then?
I got a text last night. The date of the Black Veil documentary is going to be up on the 3rd of August at 10:30.
Ooh.
So that's when it goes live.
Ooh.
I think that's the only real piece of gossip. Other than that, it's just surviving the heat and the pandemic.
I have been able to see people at a distance over a table.
Slowly learning how to re-socialize with everyone in person again. That'll be fun.
You can't pull your face off camera when you've got the person in front of you.
And I'll have to make sure I'm actually wearing proper clothes instead of sitting in my pants.
Yeah, most of the sister videos I've done over the pandemic have been, I've been wearing nothing below the waist.
I'm just going to reappear for a moment just to say I basically did a whole week of interviews in my pants. Professional.
So when people say when you're afraid to go to interviews, imagine them in their underwear. You're doing that for them.
Just helping them out. Yes, sorry, I had to find my head panties, but I have found them now. So veil is going to go on and I'll be right back.
Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Because of course, when we get able to gather again, we've got all sorts of things to do. The two of you wanted to restate your vows with people present.
That would be nice.
We need to welcome Shirley Bent back. We need to do some sort of ceremony to represent Dusty Tongues moving over to the Knight's Path.
We'll have a busy schedule when we can actually start meeting up again.
Apologies, I was fighting with my veil. I'm very lopsided.
They never hang the same.
But lopsided boobs.
I do have a set of these for you when we can meet in person, with the
Ooh.
tips on the end so that they don't come off.
That's a much better idea because that's basically what happened today was my pins came out and I didn't have my hench available to fix it for me and I'm standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom going
I think it's quite interesting that we've got to see sort of 3 different styles and sort of presentations of how to present as a sister.
Yeah, because we're all very different in what we've done, aren't we? So I'm really looking forward to watching this back actually and watching other people's processes as well. Because even when you manifest with people, you're normally so concentrated on your own face that you're not really watching that intently with what someone else is doing. That's my tropical beach themed summer butterfly, which is very different from Brother Bimbo's flowery butterfly with extra sparkles.
If we had ages, I would have stuck sparklies on.
Well, next time, I mean, there's always ages when I'm involved.
No, I think when we finally get to go out again, I'm just going to want to look as fantastic as I can. All the glitter, all the rhinestones.
It's going to be a proper celebration.
I think the first time we go out, we're probably all going to take 5 hours each to make sure everything's perfect.
And of course, Sister Babushka is bringing us lovely summer colours. Lots of nice greens.
Well, when you're down at the beach like I am right now, you know, you've just got to go with the vibes.
So I guess we just hope that people found this interesting and enjoyable and maybe learned a little bit about the secrets of how we end up looking the way we do.
By accident, mostly. Oh, what happens if I do that? Oh, well, too late now. It'll have to do.
That's quite often how my faces come about, is that I don't know when to stop, so I just keep adding bits and I end up with whatever I end up with.
Yeah, I think I just go, oh, I like that colour today, let's put that on, and I let the brush do the talking, I don't bother.
I suppose we should say a really big thank you to Brother Bimbo for joining us today. It's been very exciting having a third person with us. It's been a first for utter nonsense, and something we shall definitely do again, pretty much immediately.
Yes. I think we've had such fun with Brother Bimbo joining us. I think we're going to make them come along to the next episode as well.
Yeah. What is our next episode, Babushka?
So, next episode, we're going to play a very special game. No, it's not Are the Cis Hets Okay again? We had enough of that last time.
I definitely had enough of that. I felt so horrible after that. I was like, how do these people even exist? No, we have a better game. We have a better one.
Yes. Next episode, we're going to play Besties or Frenemies. So, Sister Alaska and I are going to find out how much we know about each other and if we're good friends or not. And Brother Bimbo is going to be there to help us get through that interesting experience of friendship.
And at the end of it, we'll see if we're still friends or not. So thank you for joining us for today's episode. Really hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification on YouTube if you want to be notified of future episodes. And don't forget to check us out at our other social medias as well. So you can follow us on various different platforms. The links are all down in the description below. And without further ado, I think it's time to say adieu. Oh, that rhymed.
I thought it was going to be We Did the Thing.
We did the thing.
I think we did the thing.
We did the thing. We did the thing. We did the thing. We did the thing. Yay!
Oh, I'm disappearing again.
Bye, Babushka.
Whoa.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.